Let's begin the briefing for week 18 of 2024 on U.S. stocks. We'll examine the stocks that have surged among the major indices last week. Starting with the S&P 500, Howmet Aerospace stood out with a 19% jump in its stock price. While the S&P 500 itself edged up by 0.27%, the top 25 stocks surged by an average of 2.12%. Howmet, a key player in the aerospace and defense sector, manufactures crucial components for aircraft and spacecraft. The stock saw an impressive 19% rise over the week, fueled by a stellar earnings report. Q1 earnings for 2024 beat expectations, and the company boosted its full-year outlook while also promising a hefty dividend increase by year's end. Their Q1 revenue hit $1.82 billion with earnings per share at 57 cents, topping the expected $1.7 billion and 52 cents EPS. With commercial aerospace revenue up 23% and EBITDA margins at 24%, surpassing guidance, Howmet remains optimistic. Despite potential drops in Boeing 737 MAX parts, increased demand elsewhere might balance out the scales, prompting a $200 million bump in their 2024 revenue forecast. Switching over to the Nasdaq, Moderna Therapeutics witnessed a 15% rise in its stock price. The Nasdaq 100 was up just 0.5%, but Moderna shone with quarterly results that soared past expectations, thanks to robust sales from its COVID-19 vaccine, Spikevax. While they posted a loss this quarter, the EPS of $3.07 was still ahead of forecasts. Moderna has held steady on its $4 billion revenue forecast for the year. The FDA is also close to a decision on Moderna's RSV vaccine, which is critical for both infants and the elderly. Furthermore, Moderna is pushing forward with cancer vaccine research, collaborating with Merck and starting trials for several cancers. Over in the Russell 2000, Carvana's shares skyrocketed by 40% after their earnings report. The index itself was up 1.53%, with the top stocks rising nearly 10%. Carvana's post-earnings jump is notable with a gross profit per unit reaching $6,432 and an adjusted EBITDA margin of 7.70%. These gains are largely thanks to strategic cost cuts and improved efficiency from ongoing restructuring efforts. The rally could also be fueled by a short squeeze, as the stock has been heavily shorted but then significantly outperformed market expectations. That wraps up our breakdown of this week's significant stock movements. Stay tuned to see if these companies can keep up their momentum in the weeks to come.